Hey guys, and welcome back to the second video that we're talking about priorities. In the first video, I talked a lot about the 7-Minute Life being a company, a time management company for people who are overwhelmed. And I know I fit into that schedule. It seems like we wake up every morning and we hit a fire drill and we try to have some kind of mental to-do list because we know that each day that's all we have to get the things done that we said we were going to do. Time management affects every part of our life. It affects how we feel in the day. It affects a lot of emotional things that we feel. When we have that to-do list and we have it right in front of us and we feel committed to accomplishing those things, but we don't get them done, and they rage in our mind over and over again, the emotional outcome for me, and I'm going to be harsh here, is that I feel like I've broken promises to myself. I feel like my self-esteem is lower. I look at other people and I say, how in the world can they not get it done? I mean, how in the world can they get it done? But somehow I can't seem to accomplish anything. And I feel like I'm crazy. Why in the world does my to-do list swell more and more and more and just gets bigger? In the last video, we talked about some theory, some of the ideas of why time management and to-do lists are so important, but they're not the only thing that you need to understand about how your life is impacted. And I shared a story about having a to-do list that was like this long. All of those things that you needed to get done, every file folder on your desk, every piece of laundry, every garage that needs to be cleaned out, the budget proposals, all of those things that are on your to-do list. And some of them have been on your to-do list for a month, for 6 months, for 2 years. We all feel the weight of those long to-do lists. But I asked a simple question. I asked you, if somehow we could wave a magic wand and at the end of the day today, your to-do list would be completely finished. Every single thing that was on your to-do list, the garage would be clean. There'd be no laundry. Every budget proposal would be cleaned out. You'd even have your Christmas cards ready for the following Christmas. If you could get every single thing done, everything completed, marked off on the to-do list that you have today, I asked the question, would getting all of that done have made a difference in your life? Would getting everything done have made the world a better place? Would it create better relationships with your children, with your spouse? Would it help you have time to reconnect with what you think is most important in life? And my answer to you is getting things done is important. I'm a time management expert. I know people struggle with becoming more productive. But what I want to share today and what I promised I would share are some hands-on activities of how you can get things done, but at the same time, reconnect with life. Make sure you're doing the right things. Make sure you're doing things that make a difference, not only in your own life, but also in the lives of others. Now, I know there are going to be those mundane things that we just have to get done, but even in those tasks, I think there can be so much more of life that can happen. So let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to share some hands-on exercises of things that I believe you can do starting right now. As you look at this image, I want you to encourage you to think of these two words that are on there. Do you actually know what your priorities are in life? Have you taken time to think, here are the things that I value most in life? These are the priorities that I want to be part of who I am. I want to understand my chief aim in life. What is that overall big picture that I want to walk toward? one of the things that we say is, who do you want to be? That's inside that box. Who are you inside your heart, body, mind, and soul? And are you that person that you want to be? This is such an encouragement because I think we have to take time to listen to videos like this, to be inspired, to understand that day by day we can learn how to become more connected to our priorities, how to rediscover our purpose, and how to become that person and go down the paths that I believe we're all called to go down. So let me walk you through these slides and try to help you understand the exercises of how you can become more committed. We just started out with a welcome. Our name of our company is the 7-Minute Life, and it's 7 minutes, even though this video is going to be longer than 7 minutes. It's the 7-Minute Life, and I'll show you the next slide, because we want to love things and we want to help you define your priorities. But it's called the 7-Minute Life because we believe you can make great strides forward in just 7 minutes at a time. All of these things that are swirling in your mind, we want to encourage you to learn how to simplify those things down to a few steps, a few exercises that can become part of the repeatable habits in your life. So let's start with this. Let me start with the idea of simplifying your life. Let me make sure this is all plugged in. There we go. When you simplify your life, there are two things I want you to think about. Let's look at this arrow and say, this is the day you were born, and this is the day you die. We have some kind of span, some timeline for when we started life and when we end life. And what I want to see is that overarching picture, that big picture of who I've been called to be. I'm a person of faith, I'm a Christian, and I look at this and I think, what kind of stewardship do we want to have from the beginning of life to the end of life? And I want people to visually see that it just moves forward towards those periods in time. As you grow and mature, what is going to be most important to you? What are those things that you're going to be able to look back on life and say, these things matter? Are your priorities going to include loving others? Are they going to include watching your faith grow or adventure or making a difference in your community? What are those things from the beginning of life until you die that you want to see happen to make a difference in other people's lives? I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to say another part of priorities. Instead of when you were born, let's say that this was this morning when you woke up. And the end of this spectrum is when you go to sleep tonight. The same thing is true. We have a finite amount of time to live a life that brings, that brings that opportunity to find that passion, that burning desire back in our life. And we can only step through that day by day by day. And we believe that the number one thing you have to do is you have to become aware. You have to make decisions to be intentional, to think through what you want to do. So we create these to-do lists of tasks from our work or our home that we actually do need to get done. But how many things on your to-do list actually make a difference in your life? How many things today or tomorrow or the next day, how many things are going to make a difference? You're going to wake up every day, you're going to get dressed, you're going to end up at the office. Let's say at this point, you are going to blink your eyes and you're going to come home, and then all of a sudden you have gotten nothing done. I know that sounds familiar. I know it does. But what would happen if amid all of those tasks, you chose to see, to think about, and to choose, and this is a really key point, to choose to be aware of what you value most in life, even to just think about it. What is it that you value? How can you use your time to put those priorities into your life? Think about how important and meaningful taking day by step days, being grateful, being thankful, and being aware of the things that you can do to make life much more meaningful. I want to share, before we go into the exercises, I want to share part of what we talk about. I love this, the study of neuroplasticity, how the brain functions. It is incredible. We have several programs that go on about neuroplasticity, but I think this is the simplest illustration I can share when it comes to priorities, life, and time management. This is actually an image of a cow path. Now, if you don't live in Arkansas, you may not see these all the time, but you'll see acres and acres of agricultural land. And in some points, there are, I don't know, dozens, maybe 50, maybe 100 cows in this field. And they have all this room to graze. But when they go back home, they follow the same cow path over and over again until it actually, creates ruts. It becomes where you can see it. And as you can already tell where I'm going. Here you are, you can see these cow paths. And what happens with our to-do list is that over and over and over again, we choose to do the same thing we've always done. We wake up, we go into a fire drill, we're late for work, we're trying to eat our breakfast, we get there, we don't have a plan of action. We go through the day focusing on the loudest tasks. We leave the office, we put our seatbelts on, and we feel that overwhelming pressure that as we look back on our day, we got nothing done that we said we would do. And remember, when we don't get those things done, it puts that pressure, those emotional pieces onto us. And so why in the world would we continue to take those same actions when they're not working? But take that just a different step. Living in all that chaos, doing all those things, living in that really cow path over and over and over again. And we call living in the cow path leaning on your default behaviors. That's familiar to us. It's what we know. So we fall back on that. That's our default behavior. But as you think about your time and how busy you are, as you go up and down this path using your default behaviors, have you even considered that all of those things that you want to do have nothing to do with your priorities in life? We say they are the most important, but for some reason, we are so busy that they just don't become important. Here's the exercise I'd like you to do. I'd like you to take out a sheet of paper after you've watched this, and I'd like you to write down 10 things you love to do at work. Not just the tasks, not all of those things, but what are those things that you love to do? Because those are the things that your priorities will build out of. Here are some of the things that I love to do. I'm a writer. I've published all those books, 3 books on business. So I love to write. It just sweeps me away. I love teaching and speaking. Of course, I love to help people with their time management. It is something that I still struggle with. And so we have a community, a group that helps us and encourages us. I like to help people design their mission, my own mission. When I work with a company, I want to help them understand that clarity. Those are the things that we want. We want order and direction and clarity. One of the things that people don't know is I believe creating the unimagined is really fun. Creating the tools and creating the concepts that never existed. I love that. I love to share hope, to do videos just like this that give you encouragement Oh, that's the next one. I love to encourage people. I work with a brilliant team. And if you know me at all, I love to laugh out loud. When you see us working on videos or all kinds of things, and it's just fun. You know, I think those are the things that priorities drive out of. So take a sheet of paper and write down the 10 things that you love to do at work. The next part of this exercise is I'd like you to pull out a piece of paper and begin to write down your strengths. We are so busy that we forget what we love about our work. We have those rare moments that we understand it, but what if you knew what you love to do at work? And then what if you took the next step and said, I love to do those things because I have strengths and aptitudes in them. Can't you see where we're going? The things that you love to do at work and those gifts that you have to add value to your life, those are the things that are going to begin to drive you and lead you toward your purpose in life. So to help, let me just share some of my strengths. You know, these are all internal things, but I believe in constant learning and growing. Excuse me. I am an avid learner. I do a lot of listening. I do a lot of talking to people, but learning and growing is very important to me. My strengths, I really think that I'm strong, that I'm really good at helping people improve their time management, not just by watching one video, but giving them tools that they can do day after day to get out of those cow paths. One of my strengths is that I'm very passionate and purposeful. And as I talk to people, it reminds me that these things are strengths that I have, and I want you to feel that as well. I'm very optimistic. And don't take me as a Pollyanna. The last 4 years of my life have been likely the most difficult circumstances I have ever had. Health issues, you know, they're all so many things. And I know your circumstances are no different than mine, but we can't change the circumstances. But as we focus on our priorities and purpose, and we hang out with people that are also passionate, we can be optimistic about our future. Again, a strength is I love to create the unimagined. I think I'm really good at that. I love connecting people, helping them meet other like-minded people. I guarantee you that I'm willing to persevere. There is not a I can't do it in me. I will try something over and over again until I begin to create those skill sets. Again, I love to laugh out loud. I don't fear failing, and I happily learn from my mistakes. Now that's a big deal, but are you willing to take those risks, to fail forward and continue to move on? So these are two great exercises that I'm going to encourage you to do the day you're watching this. What do you love to do at work? And what do your strengths include? We can't just think about it. We need to take time to take it out of our mind and put it on a piece of paper. Have you done that? Do you really know why you're awesome and why you can make a difference at work? As you think about that, I want you to look at the flowchart of the 7-minute life. I'm going to grab this planner. Our tools include the 7-minute life daily planner. And as we go through that, inside that, the very first thing that people have to do is they have to decide what their priorities are in life. And you can see, if you looked at the last one, you can see some of that, and I'll share those. But, and let me find this page. As you continue on working through these pieces, you will come to a place, if I can find it, let's see. Yeah, if I can find it in my planner, you will come to a place that there is no reason to plan your day unless you are planning a day that will make a difference in your life. And as you do this more and more, you will begin to understand that if you're going to plan your day, which is what this does, it's a daily planner, then we have to plan it by understanding several things. let me walk you through kind of the flow chart of what we have. The number one thing, if you're going to have a life where you can reconnect with your priorities, then we have to reconnect with our priorities. We have to learn how to do that. That's step one. Step two also makes my heart pound. I don't believe people have actually taken the time to understand their purpose in life. Why have you been placed on this earth? What are the things that you believe you've been called to do? So it begins with priorities. It then moves through your purpose, and then it's time to set life goals. Remember, you start and then you die. That gap in between, what do you want to have happen in that? Fun things, emotional things, spiritual things, relationship things. What are those life goals going to look like from birth until death? After that, it's important to create a timeline. Most people think they can do every single thing in a week. We can't do that. We have to say, okay, we're going to do these things over a lifespan. The 7-minute life is built on 90-day platform. Why? People ask us that. Why do I need to accomplish my goals or my thoughts over a 90-day period? It's because it's how the world works. There are 4 seasons in life. Every time we go, right now we're moving into summer, and then there's going to be fall, and then winter, and then spring. Life just moves on in kind of a cycle. And the reason that I did this is because if I plan every 90 days, it's great. If I have a bad 90 days, I can say I get a mulligan and I start over new. And then all of that planning comes down to, what are you going to do today? Now, let me clean that off. And I want to share what I think people do. Why is time management such a struggle? Is because this is the only focus people take. They focus on today, and they have not looked at their priorities, their purpose, their life goals, when they want to do things, and even what they want to do on a short time. If you wake up today and go to bed filled with tasks that are not important and that do not make a difference in your life or other people's lives, what are you losing out on? You're losing out on all of this. That's where the pain comes from. Do you know your priorities and purpose? That's one of the things we do. As you look at this worksheet, which is this worksheet, if you want to learn how to do that, there comes a point that there's an investment of time. This is not an exercise that I can walk you through. It takes, an hour, 2 hours, a day, 10 days to really understand what your priorities in life are. But rather than having to figure that out on your own, we try to give you a list of 75 values that can help you prioritize those values. So some of yours may be, yes, I want to have love in my life. I want to have that deep faith, that abiding faith. I want to have happiness and meaningful work. I definitely want freedom in my life. For me, I love adventure. I've been skydiving 4 times. Laughter is important to me. Faith is important to me. For some of you, nature, growing and learning is definitely important. Spending time with my family, serving others, growing the knowledge, inspiring, contributing, teaching, all of these things can make a difference. Do you actually have some kind of format that can take you through this exercise and ignite all of these things in your life? This is mine. This is my priority list, and this is one of the things that we teach people through. You can see those things that are most important to me. Even as I look at that list of priorities, what it does is it makes me consciously aware that this is what I want to filter how I spend my time. Now, I understand we all have things that we have to do, but what a difference it would make. These are my priorities: faith, mercy, and grace. Number 2, love and family. 3, freedom and peace. 4, learning and growing. Then health, friendships, belonging, creativity, teaching, laughter, and joy. And when I'm teaching this, most people do not put financial security on there, but I do think it's important to pay the bills. So these are the things that I hope have helped you today. We've talked about the exercise of deciding what you love to do at work and what your strengths are. And we've given you a concept of here's some things that you can choose out of your life. And I've shown you my own priorities. And I've said, what would happen if I left the cow path and I just didn't fall back on those default behaviors over and over that were not causing me to live a life that was important? I wasn't being that person. I couldn't see the big picture of that one aim. But you can do this. You can use these exercises to understand your values and let your life funnel through these things. This is all important. I love sharing it. I am Allyson Lewis, founder of the 7-Minute Life. You can find out a lot more information by going to the7minutelife.com. But there are some things you just really need to learn in person. We're going to be telling you about an event that's coming up that I think would be awesome to walk through with other people that are also wanting to understand their priorities and their purpose in life. And how fun would it be? We have a lot of people that say, Allyson, I get what you're doing, but what would it be like to sit down? You know, I'll be one of the facilitators. What would it be like to walk you through all of this in person? I'm going to be talking about that in the next video. So I want you to stay tuned. It's going to be exciting. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, to like this video, to comment, to tell your other friends to visit the 7-Minute Life. And if we can help you, just reach out to us. So I'm Allyson Lewis, a person always looking for priorities and purpose and helping share that with other people just like you. I'll see you in the next video.